Hey guys, what's going on? Back with another Cold War Zombies video. And as you guys know, a few days ago, Treyarch released the trailer and roadmap for Season 5 that's coming to Cold War and Warzone. And it looks within those intel that they gave us, they put maybe some Primis Easter eggs in there, maybe hinting at there being a Primis return coming to zombies, or maybe just paying respects to them, or it could just be coincidence. So I just want to kind of point it out, go over a few things that looks like it might be an Easter egg. And as you guys know, with the release of the roadmap, we found out that the new Perseus operator is going to be Kitsune, who is a Japanese, I guess, fighter, you're going to say, or a Japanese operator, and it's going to have some Japanese themes within the season that's coming up in Season 5. So that's one little Easter egg. One of the things that kind of like, and I tell people ever since I started solving these a couple years ago, one or two things might be a coincidence, but when there's like maybe five or more, or three or more Easter eggs, it it's no longer like a coincidence. It's just them hiding stuff, and you have to piece it together. So I also watched a couple YouTubers, zombie YouTubers, in their videos, and it looks like a lot of people missed a couple things, so I want to kind of go over what I think are Easter eggs. The first one being that it's a Japanese theme. And some of these might be funny, but it's kind of the way that Treyarch has always hit Easter eggs or hinted towards things. Um, and then you go, like I said, you go back and look at some of the old games and maps. You just start laughing and chuckling to yourself. I'm like, oh, that's what that meant. That was what that clue was, or oh, that's how they were hinting at certain things. So the first thing, like I said, is Kitsune being a Japanese operator for Perseus, who ends up blowing up Echelon. And so I'm just gonna kind of recap also some stuff that people have missed, and I kind of pointed out. We had Mauder Toten, and just in case you haven't heard this story, I'm just gonna go over it really quickly. They show a couple silhouettes, one being Valentina, and then the second one could be Valentina or could have been Eddie. And then right after they show that silhouette, they flash DER on the screen. Like I said, Treyarch is very clever and intelligent how they do Easter eggs. So DER, I guess, was hinting at the end of the cutscene for Mario Toten, we were gonna see the backside of Eddie, or I guess they're gonna call him Dr. Eddie Richtofen, or Dr. Edward Richtofen. Not necessarily. This is something I just want to talk about really quickly. I don't think it's gonna be Eddie per se. I think it's gonna be another German Richtofen, because American Samantha and American Eddie are outside the game Easter eggs, I guess you can call it. That like they're the ones that are necessarily telling the story. Unless they give them an American accent or whatever, then it's fine, whatever. But more than likely, Samantha Maxis has an accent because we're within her story. And Eddie, I'm not trying to like. I always tell people I'm not trying to like fact check um, Treyarch, but there is a low probability he's going to have an American accent, being as we're within the story. If for some reason Eddie is all an adult now, and then he's the one that's telling the story, then I can see him having an American accent. But that's just a really quick off-topic information that you probably need to know. Again, if you looked at the Mauder Toten trailer, it hinted at Richtofen coming back, and then we end up seeing him in the cutscene for Mauder Toten. Again, probably going to be a German Richtofen, because if he's American, that means he would be the one telling the story, because American Sam and American Eddie are the ones that tell the story, and we're within their movie or story or book or whatever form Treyarch decides to use. Just a little quick side note. So again, recapping some stuff, back in Black Ops 4, we had a perk, and this is how everything's going to be so similar. We had a perk called Blaze Phase, which was a way of Treyarch telling us, hey, go back and look at some stuff that you missed. So what Blaze Phase hinted at was the blue Apothicon being at the end of, or the intro for Revelations. His name is FaZe. He comes from a different video game, which I'm not going to kind of go into too much detail because I've mentioned that a couple times now. So FaZe is the blue being that is evil, and he sends his babies, which are the Leviathans. The Leviathans are birthed, I believe, from FaZe, and so he gives them like the energy or the blue ether, and then he spits it all over the universe and different dimensions and galaxies or whatever. So FaZe is a blue being. His babies are the or helpers or beings or whatever you want to call it, are the Leviathans, and they're the ones who spat the 115 all over the place. So that was them giving us that information. So it looks like they did the same thing with depth perception. So depth perception is hinting or telling us, hey, you got to look deep into stuff, not necessarily taking it too literal. But as far as like this stuff on the outside, I don't know exactly what that's hinting at. But if you look at the symbolism to depth perception, or depth perception, it's saying, hey, look at some stuff more deeply, try and make some connections to stuff that you're seeing. Again, so I'm going to use the roadmap to kind of explain or look over a couple things that could be what they're hinting at. Uh, First is Japanese, I guess, representing Takio, and we're getting a tank in Zombies representing or hinting at Tank Dempsey. As far as Richthofen and Nikolai, I'm not 100% sure. There are some stuff in the COD store that you might want to look at. So the other thing that I want to point out, I'm going to go back and forth probably a couple times, is mobile broadcasting station, maybe hinting at COD Mobile that we just recently, here's the tank, hinting probably at Tank Dempsey. But in COD Mobile, in their new season, we actually got Primis returning, and they're stuck in purgatory. So what happens, and if you watch the cutscenes, when you die, you get sent, and this is connects to Cold War also. When you die, you get sent to the Dark Ether, which is purgatory, and the whole theme for Cold War that I mentioned probably 2 months ago now is we're in the purgatory stage of the cycle. It goes inferno, purgatory, and then paradise. So I don't know if we're gonna travel to the dark ether and Primus is gonna be there, or they're gonna escape the dark ether and come into our world. I'm still not 100% sure how they're gonna do it or what the outcome is gonna be, because it looks like when you come out of the dark ether, you have like superpowers. So I don't know if they're gonna help Samantha in the long run, or maybe Eddie is trying to find his old self or the old Richtofen in the dark ether. So obviously, if you look at the roadmap, that could be hinting like, hey, go look at COD Mobile, or COD Mobile is kind of canon, hinting, or not necessarily canon, but maybe hinting at what's coming in Cold War. There are probably a couple more Easter eggs, but again, I tell people I don't want to dive too much into stuff because then it makes it look like you're desperately trying to make connections. I just look at the obvious stuff. Another thing that could be an Easter egg or a hint is double agent is coming, and that could be like maybe, hey, stuff has a double meaning. Um, so that I'll have to wait and see, and that's kind of one reason I end up doing this stuff is I want to see. First, it's kind of showing the devs that, hey, people actually care about your game and your maps. They just don't put up a quick video to make cash. That like, hey, people actually look deep into your stuff, like they used to when World at War first came out and Black Ops 1. And then obviously this is a hinting at like Black Ops 1, maybe Black Ops 2. Actually, Black Ops 1 because there's this Mustang and Sally. So maybe somehow it's going to tie into Black Ops 1, maybe a zombies map from Black Ops 1, and stuff like that. So back to other stuff. So as far as the Cold War store is involved, there's a new, or I think this came out a few days ago, but the Mystic Scepter, hints at like origins and the staff of the ancients, and it actually mentions that here. It says introducing the first legendary blueprint for the mace, uncover hidden secrets and ancient weapons with the Mystic Scepter bundle. And you can see kind of the origins looking scepter there, or the ancients, which I'm not going to go too much into that also because a lot of stuff that's out there, it's going to take a lot to explain it. But the ancients were the people of Atlantis, and we're getting a lot of like water stuff here. And then we had COD Mobile just had their water themed season, so you know there's a lot of water stuff in here also. But this is obviously hinting at, and then if you look at her, she could be, think that she could be dressed either as Takeo or somewhat dressed as Nikolai, I believe, because they both wear those like goggle pilot things. And if you look at some of the clues, it says Ancient Scepter, Spellcaster, Glauber, which looks like it's a chaos maybe themed, like 9 or Roman 9. Expedition, motorcycle, casual, surprise, and then if you say think about it, which means like put all the clues together, they always do stuff like this. Casual surprise could be like, hey, Primis skins or bundles might be coming to Cold War in a casual surprise, random out of the blue, or it could be hinting at what happened with COD Mobile, how nobody saw that Primis was coming to COD Mobile. I think that might be the last thing. Okay, so if you look at some of the clues that they put in there, and again, like I said, if you go to some of these bundles, they do all tell a story, or they're all hinting towards something, or they hinted towards something. Because there's even a double agent bundle in here that hinted at maybe double agent the mode coming. So they're no dummy when it comes to giving us hints and tying everything together, and they do it really, really good. Again, the roadmap is going to be probably has the most stuff in there. Death. Oh, it is depth perception. Well, I'm just thinking depth, or death perception. So again, could be hinting at, hey, look at some stuff more deeply, or as like double agent mentions, um, look at stuff maybe with a double meaning, or it could be hinting at some clues. It's just a little bit strange how a lot of it could all tie together. The numbers, I don't know what the numbers means. I know that's an event that's coming. It'd be kind of cool. I was thinking too, like if like the doors in Warzone somehow broke and stuff from the Dark Ether starts spilling out of the doors, that would be kind of cool little thing that they would do. As far as like other stuff, like the cane, I thought like maybe the Shadow Man. I don't know if does he have a cane. He does have a cane because you look for it in Shadows of Evil for that Easter egg. So it could be some clues with like that's one thing that I saw. Like maybe the cane was hinting at the Shadow Man returning, or they're gonna put some of those old operator skins in a bundle in the store. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I said, it's just a couple clues. The main one being death perception. That like, hey, maybe look at some stuff a little bit deeper, um, or maybe hinting at like premise that's dead already or something like that. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.